Hello, Aaron. This is Edgar, Mr. ID, and we have been
Okay.
talking in a secretary show many times.
Okay.
And the reason why I called you because first I would like to remind you that I had answered your phylogenetic challenge because 13 years
Did
ago,
you?
yeah, this me.
Why did you not make that known to anyone
But what?
that you answered my phylogeny challenge?
No, I've been contacting you in the Atreus Experience show. I've been
So why don't
telling
you
them,
answer?
but
So you must be the one that tells me that you've answered it. And when I say, okay, what's the answer then? I don't get any response.
no, I responded you. The answer is the
Okay, well, what's the
conclusion is
answer
that
then?
yeah, the conclusion is that you are wrong in science and you
I
are wrong
remember
about
that.
in
I remember
biology.
that.
Yeah,
That's
you remember
the
that.
response that I gave you. The response I gave you when you
Yeah.
said that was that you don't even know what the phylogeny challenge is. So how could you know what the solution to it is? You just say that I'm wrong. You
No,
don't even know what I'm wrong about. What is the phylogeny challenge?
your biology challenge. If you have given a biology challenge 30 years ago, you base your biology challenge on assumption that the theory of evolution is correct.
That the what?
And yeah, you base your biology challenge on an assumption, on a conclusion that the theory of evolution is correct. And by
Okay, so
using
Mr.
the
ID,
you and I.
theory
before
of
Okay,
evolution,
let me
before
help
you
you out with
continue,
this.
Mr.
yeah,
ID,
let, let, let,
Yeah.
Mr.
let,
ID,
let me
your
continue.
voice is coming in. Just I want to let you know your voice is coming in very, very, very staticky. And I
Yep.
think there's probably, if we want to have this discussion, we're going to need your sound improved a little bit. I don't know if you're on Wi-Fi, or I don't know if you're can go to if you're on speakerphone or take it off. Just you're very hard to hear right now, unfortunately. And I think that we're going to miss some of the nuance. So if you can do anything to improve that, that would be great.
Do you want me to speak slowly?
Well,
I
the
would like you
problem
to
is
speak
that
with less static.
whenever you speak, static associates. It's like you're leaning in too close on the mic, or you've got too much gain.
Oh, or maybe yeah. Maybe I'm. How about that?
That's a little
That's much
better.
better.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Let me help
Maybe
you out
I'm
with
thinking
let me
about.
help you out with the phylogeny challenge, since you've no idea what you're talking about. Uh,
Oh yeah, please.
yeah,
Okay.
because creationists accept that some degree of phylogeny is legit. I mean, all of them. Ken Ham of Answers in Genesis, Kent Hovind admits some degree of phylogeny. The question is where it and that it's totally legitimate, right? That dogs are related. All the breeds of dogs are all related to each other. That the dogs are related to wolves and coyotes, and that wolves and coyotes and domestic dogs are related to other species of dogs, right? But they don't know where the line is. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
phylogeny challenge is
That
to
is
show
that is
me where the line is. So I ask a handful of simple questions. It's so easy to do this. Just where the answer is no. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you tell me where the answer is no. Okay? Are
okay.
mallards related to puckards, wood ducks, and muscovies?
Well, they're related. All animals are related. If you are going to
All
base
animals are related.
on their DNA, yeah,
Okay,
because you
so
must
you
have a
accept
basis.
evolution
You must
just
can you,
wholeheartedly.
can you please? You must have a basis in your classification. You must
Okay, so
invent a
you
basis.
accept universal common ancestry.
Yeah, but you must
Okay, so
invent
what's your
something.
problem with
You must
evolution then?
invent a basis. I don't believe in evolution
Okay, what?
because there is no evolution.
There
There is
is
no
no
such thing as
evolution.
evolution in biology.
By what process are all animals related?
They are related based on biological interrelation.
Do you know what is an interrelation?
You see, you must. That's why I told you to read my science book in the defense, in the rebuttal of your polygyny challenge,
You're
because
telling me that
you
you've
have no
answered a
clue on your
challenge you've
argument.
never read. You don't know what the phylogeny challenge is. How can you have answered it?
No, I know the Paulogia challenge. That's the reason why I wrote a
You
science
don't
book
know
for
what it
you
is
as a
still.
rebuttal. No,
Mr. ID,
I know
please.
it.
Mr. ID, I don't know what the phylogeny challenge is. I'm going to pretend I don't. Please describe to me and the audience who doesn't know what it is, have never heard of it. In your own words, please describe back to us what
Okay,
Aaron's phylogeny challenge is so that we will know.
Yeah.
okay. I will. Okay, please give me a time. Okay, on 13 years ago, AronRa had published, had uploaded a video on his YouTube channel about the Paulogia challenge, and he had in my book, he has 13 questions for those people who are against the evolution theory and are challenging them to answer his challenge. For example, his question is, for example, okay, in the challenge number 1 that I have written in my science book, God definitely created different kinds. This is the first question. The second question that he posted, he had said in his challenge.
Wait. The first question is God created different kinds? That's the first question?
Yes,
In my challenge,
that is the first. That's the first. That's why you must remember your challenge because I wrote that in my science book in detail.
No, but unfortunately, Mr. ID, we haven't read your book, and we cannot read your book while this call is
Yeah,
happening, or it would be a very boring show. So you are going to need to
that's
articulate things that me and the audience don't know. Are you saying that the
yeah,
first question of Aaron's challenge is God created kinds? That's not even a question.
no, that is the reason why he he put that in his video because he was insulting creationism. He
That's
was
not what we're
insulting
trying.
them that
That's not
hey
what we're here for, Mr.
you,
ID. Mr. ID, Aaron is going to talk to you, but I don't understand what we're talking about. So you need to understand for the proxy of the audience and for us to evaluate whether you even understand what the challenge is. You need to express the challenge in your own words now without giving us any of the without giving us the ramifications or the consequences or your responses to it. We just need you to articulate what the challenge is, please.
yeah, and I'm going to help you out
yeah,
here. You
I'm
said
telling you the
my
challenge.
challenge had. Oh, excuse me. You said that my challenge had 13 questions. That's wrong. And then you said what the first question was. That's wrong. So you got to correct yourself from the beginning. What is the phylogeny challenge, and how does one answer it?
I, before that, Aaron, you had a video in YouTube, and you didn't erase that. It is
That's
there.
right. Yeah,
It is
that's right.
there.
It's
It is
there.
there.
So you have no
It is there.
excuse for
Okay.
not.
So
I'm looking at the
I have all.
script for that video right now, where I explained what the phylogeny challenge is. I have a direct quote from the video explaining what the phylogeny challenge is. So, Dr. Dumbass, can you tell me what it is?
Your Paulogia challenge is you're asking those people who are against evolution theory to make another classification for the living organisms
No, I'm
because
not.
you are thinking you are thinking that evolution theory is correct and therefore
Well, I
all
know that it's
other
correct.
explanations
I
are
could show
wrong.
that it's correct,
So,
and the
so
phylogeny challenge
please,
is one way
please,
to prove that it is correct. I can prove to you that it is correct using that challenge.
there is such kind of thing in biology in reality. You are
Oh, there's no
inventing
such
something
thing as
that is not
phylogeny.
part of
So,
reality.
so God magically created Dalmatians and Dachshunds and Malamutes and Borzoi all separately.
So that question you put that in the challenge number 2. Creation has mysterious limits that cannot be defined. And number 3, no lineage cannot be
Where are you
alleged
getting these
traced by
questions?
origin archetype. You detail your challenge in your video. That's why I also detailed my
Where?
answer in
I've
my
never
book.
asked these questions. Where are you getting them?
That's why if you maybe you forgot that, but you have a video. It cannot be
What are the
changed. It's
13
there.
questions? What are the 13
Oh
questions?
yeah. Okay. First. The first challenge. God definitely created different kinds. Second,
No, that's not a
creation.
question, and
That's
that's
not a
not anything I
question.
ever would have said.
But you are asking us to
No,
I
we're
classify
not
ask
asking
something
for
I
the
because
ask
answers.
completely different questions
yeah,
that you don't
because
understand.
in our
What's the
classification
second
today, we
question,
have
and
a
where
lot
did you get it from?
in your video.
I
You
got
must
hundreds
you
of
must
videos. You're apparently not talking about the phylogeny challenge because I have never said
your
those
your
things
your video
in that
about
video.
phylogeny challenge. I'm talking about the video, specific video on the phylogeny challenge only, because we are
Okay,
talking
and I'm
about
looking at the
evolution
script
theory.
for that video right now, and the questions you're talking about, which aren't
Okay,
questions at all, are not in it.
that is why you must detail your video. You must slowly read it, hear it carefully, and write it so that you could get those challenges that you had posted in your
I
video.
have
It is
done
not my
exactly
video.
that,
It is
and
not my video.
that is how I am able to look at the transcript of that video right now. I'm looking at it right now. It doesn't say what you're saying. It does explain what the challenge is, but it doesn't remotely match the description that you pulled out of somewhere else. That is, you're not reading from a video I ever made. I never said those things.
No, it is in your video. That's why you did not read my book because I did that in my book. That's your problem because I told you 5 years
Give me
ago that
a
I
timestamp. When
answered
did I
your.
say this in that video? In the phylogeny challenge video, when did I say the thing that God created? And how is that a question? That's a statement. So what are these
You
13
are
questions?
no that's the challenge. You are asking us to make a new classification for biology because you are thinking and you are accepting that the
No,
evolution theory is
no,
correct.
no.
You
You are
because
no
biology challenge is
you
a classification.
you understand. Kent Hovind understands. Ken Ham understands that evolution is correct. They all accept that all dogs are related to each other. They were not magically created separately. They all talk when a biological relationship means that they have the dachshunds and the hound dogs, the bloodhound and the basset hound. They're all biologically related and not from a common ancestor from the beginning of all hounds. And the same kind of thing with terriers. And then the common ancestor of hounds and terriers was itself also a domestic breed of dog. And then prior to that, there were a variant of Asiatic wolves, but they're still biologically related. The common ancestor for all domestic dogs is an Asiatic wolf. The way that they have diversified is by evolutionary means, by random mutations, and these are being selected for. Now, you can do that with domestic dogs, but nature can do it too, a couple of different ways. We call that natural selection. So creationists, young earth creationists, accept fully and without any reservation that there is biological relationships on evolutionary mechanisms. The only question is, how far back does it go? So what I have described, what?
Can I rebut that? Can I rebut
No,
that?
you can't.
No, I can.
No, you
Remember
can't.
that if I did, I can. I can, Aaron.
No,
That's the
you
reason
can't.
why I am challenging you to a debate, to write a book to rebut my challenge to you. In your
How
filing
am
the
I going
challenge,
to
you
write a
started the
book
challenge.
to rebut your challenge
I can
of not,
defeat
you
you
don't
in
know
the
what my
debating science,
challenge is?
Aaron. I can rebut you, Aaron. Just give me a time.
Oh, I
Okay,
asked you what the challenge is. You failed to tell me what the challenge is.
no, I've already told you that you have 13 topics that you have
No, I
discussed in
don't.
your
No,
Pioneering
I
Challenge
don't.
book.
No, I don't. But
Y-
to amuse
There
us,
is there is
tell me
the
what the
reason
13
why the
questions
reason
are.
that's why don't interrupt me. I will give you those certain topics that you had posted in your YouTube video. Don't interrupt me. Okay, the first thing that I noticed in your challenge that you are asking us that God definitely created different kinds. That is the first topic that you have posted. Second,
Nope.
creation has mysterious limits that cannot be defined. Please let me speak.
It's what?
Third, no lineage could not be allegedly traced by our original archetype. Four, unable to identify by what those kinds are. 5,
Mhm.
how many there are or how many kinds there are. 6,
Right.
how could they be
But that's talking
recognized?
about
7,
kinds.
the
Yeah.
mystic division in the following taxa. 8,
Yes.
if evolution of common ancestry is not true, and you added more. 9, magically created and unique to apparently ancestor to it. 10, how could we tell the limit dividing line between kind and not kind?
Okay.
And
So what
11,
you're missing.
uniquely created kind
Hold
cannot
on.
be
Wait,
grouped
wait,
together.
wait, wait,
12,
wait, 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 wait. You said, well, you got the sentence. I would challenge them to show me their mystic divisions among the following taxa. Right? You got that part? That sentence is in there. That, however, is not a question. It's beginning the first list of questions. What is the first of the
you know,
list of questions that follows that line?
the first the first topic that you had posted in your challenge is God definitely created different kinds.
No,
Because
no,
I
no, no,
understand your
no,
thinking.
no. Go back to the thing. I would challenge them to show me the mystic divisions among the following taxa. Let me just read the rest of it because you're missing the important part. Creationists usually accept that taxonomy is superficially accurate, but they'll only concede that to a degree because they insist that their God miraculously conjured a series of definitely different kinds of animals, which were each specially created separate from each other. Creationists allow that each of these kinds have since diversified by evolutionary means, but only within mysterious limits, which they refuse to rigidly define. And they say that no lineage can be traced beyond their alleged original archetypes. However, they're unable to identify what those kinds are, how many there are, or how they could be recognized. I would challenge them to show me their mystic divisions among the following taxa. And the first question there is, you don't know, do you? Okay.
No, I thought I told you I wrote the answer in my science book, and I've been following you in atheist experience.
Okay, then
I've
then
been
let me
talking
let
to
me try this
Kyle. I've
again.
been talking to the
The first
people.
question, the first question to follow the
You see,
following taxa
Aaron, I have written a detailed response to your pilot unit challenge. Please,
without knowing the
if
first
you
fucking
are
thing about what you're talking about. So let's go with what we're talking about. What is the following taxa that we're talking about? It's the question I just asked you, which you ducked and dodged. Are mallards related to pocards, wood ducks, and muscovies? That's the first of like 20 questions.
if you
Is
are
that a yes
going to
or a no?
invent, if you are going to invent a basis of your classification, they're all related.
So
For
is
example,
that a
if I'm
yes
going to use a
or is
DNA,
that a no?
yes, they're related. They are
Okay, thank you. Now,
biologically
how are
related,
they related?
and they call it
How are they
biological
related?
interrelation.
How are they
They were related
related? How are
because
they
they
related?
have the same DNA. They have the same
How do they
biological
have the same
cell.
DNA?
Can you
Because I
please
mean, they
repeat the
don't have
question?
the same DNA. If they had the same DNA, they'd all be the same species, the same breed. They all have differences.
Yeah, and
So
the
you
same
start with a
designer,
basic. You
the
start with
same
a
designer,
basic. Oh,
AronRa.
hello! You start with a basic duck DNA, and then you make, and then one division has their own mutations to become slightly unique, so that they become mallards, and some other become pocards, and then some other group becomes wood ducks, and then of course you get the muscovies, and these are all different DNA. It starts out as the same thing, but each one is tweaked a little bit by these mutations. And it doesn't have to be natural
And the,
selection. Not at this point. At this point, we're just talking about genetic drift, really. But it is still a evolutionary mechanism. If they are related, then what you're saying is that mallards, pocards, wood ducks, and muscovies have all descended from a common ancestor. Do you understand and accept that?
I understand it, but they are called
So that,
biological interrelation, and it is not biological evolution. It is
but
totally,
that's
you are
exactly what
totally
biological
wrong in
evolution is.
science.
Define what evolution is.
Evolution is simply a change.
No, it is not
Change.
simply a change. It's a very
No,
specific
I'm just making it
change.
short for you because you don't know about science.
Oh yeah, I don't know about science. Well, I know about phylogeny, and you definitely don't. So evolution
No, I
is,
that
evolution is a change in allelic frequencies or descent with inherent modification, genetic modification, for subsets of a common ancestor. Right? This is how
that
biodiversity occurs.
that
This is I want you to understand this. Evolution is the only explanation of biodiversity. So
no, it is called
you
biology.
either say
AronRa, it is called
hello,
physical interrelation.
you either say that mallards and pockards and wood ducks and muscovies were all separate magical creations, God made each one unrelated, or they evolved from a common ancestor. And yes, the process is these biological interrelations is called evolution.
No, it is not evolution because there is no such thing of evolution in nature.
Yeah,
Remember,
yeah, there is. What
you
is the
asked me
mechanism? What is the mechanism by which these four varieties of ducks came about?
intelligent selection.
Intelligent selection for
Yes,
mallards.
no, for
Okay,
everything,
so
living organism, they
what
must
is
be
what is the
intelligent created.
intelligence selecting for, and what is the intelligence?
Uh, they are selecting for life, but
They're
living
selecting for
organism must
life.
live.
Oh, okay.
So
This
yes,
one's a dead one,
not for
so
the
I won't
production.
select that.
He's not wrong there.
What's
Dead ones don't reproduce as often, so that's, I
yeah,
guess, maybe.
yeah, they're not nearly as efficient. No. So evolution,
So that
unless
is
otherwise, hello, unless otherwise specified. When scientists are talking about evolution, and they just say the word evolution, they're not talking about just any old change. They're talking about a very specific one. The scientific context always refers to an explanation of biodiversity via population mechanics, summarily defined as descent with inherent modification, specifically genetic modification. Now, this is a process of varying allele frequencies in reproductive populations, leading to usually subtle changes in the morphological or physiological composition of descendant subsets. Now, when you compile all of these over several
I
generations, they can expand biodiversity when continuing variation between genetically isolated groups eventually lead to one or more descendant branches, increasingly distinct
it is
from their
wrong.
ancestors or cousins. So that's how you
It is
get.
wrong. It is
That's how you
wrong.
get.
There's no
How
such.
that is how you
It
get
is
a.
wrong.
That's how you get a
It
common
is
ancestor.
wrong.
That is how you get a
Let
common ancestor. That's how you get a common ancestor duck to become
it
these
is
four different
wrong,
varieties
Aaron.
of ducks.
It's wrong, Aaron. Please let me
Okay,
speak.
how did you get these four
It is
different varieties of ducks then?
it is called. You are asking for a creation in 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 my
You said
challenge to
they
you,
were
in my book that
biologically
I have
related.
written
Now
to
you're
you. It
contradicting
is
yourself.
created, intelligent created. They're intelligently made.
They're intelligently
They
made.
are intelligently made. They're intelligently
Okay,
created
so
because there's no such
somebody broke
thing
out a
as
tool set.
change.
How were they made? So what you're telling me is that you're contradicting yourself now. You're saying that the Muscovies,
No,
the
I don't
wood ducks,
contradict
are
myself.
not related to mallards. You said at first that they were related to mallards. Now you're saying that they're not.
No, I said they are related because if you are going to use the basis of DNA or cell, they are related. We had to
In what
invent in
sense are they
science
related?
for our explanation.
In what sense are they related?
They are related. They
In
are
what
related because
sense
they
are
are
they related?
biologically related. In what sense they are related? They are related because they are going to live here on Earth.
But in what sense are they
They have to live
related?
in one place. They were
Do you
related
understand?
in
You understand that let's see, what would be a good example? You have a Kia Niro that runs on gasoline, and you have a Kia Niro that runs on a battery, an EV, right? You understand that those cars may belong under the same brand name, and in that sense, maybe you could say that they're related, but in a literal sense, they're not related because they didn't come about naturally. They didn't derive from a common ancestor. They didn't evolve. Those are creations, not
that is your
evolved species.
invention. That is how you
Mr. ID,
invent explanation. I understand
Mr.
that.
ID, Mr. ID, Mr. ID, when we say
Yeah.
related, on our side of the call here, we mean in the same way that two cousins are related because they share a grandparent. That's what we mean when we say related, that they had a common ancestor. When you were saying that the mallards are related, do you mean that they have a common ancestor, or do you just mean that they have a familiar sense about them? Which
Common
of those do
designer.
you mean?
A common designer. A
No, so
common
okay, so
designer.
you reject
Okay,
that
so
they
what
have a
you're
common
saying,
ancestor?
yeah, they either have a common ancestor, meaning that they
There are
evolved.
all,
They either have a biological relationship, meaning that they've evolved from a common ancestor, or they are magical creations having
Well,
been
let's not
derived
even say.
separately from a god, a genie, basically.
Let's not even call it
there is
evolved. Let's just say descended. They descended from, right? Like,
Yeah,
well, let's take
there's
the
no
bad
and there's
word
no
out.
descent. If they're
So,
special creations, then they're not descended from. God just went abracadabra poof, abracadabra poof. Now I have wood ducks and muscovies.
that's what I
But we
told you.
know, we know that you can.
That's why
We
Aaron, I
know.
told you in my that I told you in my book about Paulogia the Challenge that you must understand the topic of intelligence, because intelligence will going to explain us about many
but
things in biology.
we're at this point we're just trying
You
to
see,
decide what you even believe, and we're having a hard time getting there.
Yeah, by
So,
the way, somebody pointed
no,
out
it is
that
not
your
for
book
me.
on Amazon, Mr. ID, somebody pointed out that your book is on Amazon listed with 1 out of 5 stars. And the description
I
here
don't
is the book
care.
seems to go
Why?
the book seems to go nowhere fast. This book is more of an
Is
attack
that a
on
scientific?
hold on. This book is more of an attack on AronRa than it is a critical analysis of the available data.
You must read it, Aaron. I
Why
can give
must
you
I read
free
it?
PDF
If
in my book.
I'm
You must
talking
read
with
it
you,
because you
I'm
made,
talking with you directly.
Aaron, you made a challenge.
I can ask you
You
the
made a
questions of my
scientific
Phylogeny
challenge
Challenge directly, but problem
and
is
a
you
scientific.
don't understand intelligence enough to answer the first fucking question.
I repeat, you made a scientific challenge to all of us. Now I'm
Yes,
answering you a scientific answer. Now it is
but you
your
don't have
turn
a
to answer
scientific
that
answer.
in a book or in a video.
Okay,
You
but
you must answer that, or you must
have
say
a
sorry
scientific
or
answer.
I'm surrender.
You don't have a scientific answer. You have a magical answer, and it doesn't relate. You said that
You need
all these
please
ducks had a biological relationship,
don't judge
but
don't
you
judge the
wouldn't.
book on its
Okay,
cover, Aaron. We are talking science. We are talking science. Please
well,
don't
I
say that.
am.
If you are if you love science, you have to
Yeah,
read both sides. I
both
am your
sides,
best critic and
the
I'm
fact
your
and the
best fan.
fantasy.
You must read my science book or say, I'm sorry, I don't understand science.
Well, I can already tell you
uh,
don't understand science. You haven't understood a fucking thing we've said so far. So,
I told you that if I don't understand your challenge, I'm not going to
okay,
write a book. The
do
book
you understand and accept? Let me
it's
try a
a book,
different thing. This is not
Aaron. It is
this
a
is
book. It
not
is
one of
in
the
detail.
questions of the challenge, but it'll help illustrate. Do you accept
You have
that dachshunds? Do you accept that dachshunds, basset hounds, bloodhounds are all biologically related, meaning they all descended from a common ancestor through evolutionary means?
no.
Okay. What is the way that
They are related.
dachshunds
They are
and
related
basset
because we are
hounds?
doing the. Please, let me answer. You please. The reason why they are related because we are using a basis in classification and biology. You know, anybody can invent a basis. You can invent. I can invent. Paul can invent. Anybody can invent. But that is not how you make science. Science must be part of reality.
Yeah, and you're
You
not.
see? You,
Yeah,
no,
the
that's
things
the
you're
reason why.
saying are not the things you're saying are not part of reality. We know for certain.
Which part? Which
We
part? Which part?
know
Which part?
we know
Which
for
part?
certain that each of these breeds of dogs were derived by, well, you could say by intelligent designers, although they're just using it's artificial selection, but it's still the same thing as natural selection in the sense that they're identifying specific mutations where the original wolf genome begins to change in some variant of descendant dogs, and so these dogs the breeders sort out certain characteristics which are indicated by the mutations, and they read them such that they can produce these or enhance these traits. These are evolutionary mechanisms: selection, random mutation, populations over generations. That's evolution.
I understand that. I understand that. I
So do
understand that.
you now
Please don't
understand and
repeat that to
accept?
me. I understand
So,
that,
so do
but
you
I
now
cannot
under,
accept
so
that
do
because
you now
I cannot
understand and
accept
accept
that.
that basset hounds,
I cannot
bloodhounds,
accept that
and
because they are not
and
part of
dachshunds
reality.
are
I,
biologically related by evolutionary means? Do you now understand and accept that? Yes
no,
or no?
um, you said that you said artificial selection and natural selection are the same. Are you? Is that
No,
really
I
true?
said in the sense that they're selecting for specific
But
mutations,
is it the same? Is it the same or no?
but they're not entirely the same. No,
You said a while ago artificial selection and natural selection is the same. It's the same or
in
not?
the
A or
sense
B?
that they're both selecting for random mutations. The difference is that
But
people,
are they the
the
same?
difference, the
Are
difference, the
artificial selection? You please
difference
yes or
is,
no?
hello, the difference is that when people are selecting for mutations in their livestock, they're looking for what is going to benefit the people, not for what's going to benefit the animal. Natural selection favors the animal. It looks for what's going to benefit the animal. So that's where they're different.
I
But
understand.
otherwise, it's the same. It's the
No,
same in the sense.
you have a very misconception in science. This is what I'm clarifying to you. Do you really
Okay.
accept that artificial selection and natural selection is the same? Are the same?
How many times have I
Do you really
just
accept that?
corrected you on this? I said
Because
they are.
that is the
I
fundamental
said
mistake.
I. Okay, why don't I just let you ramble and rave? Because we can't have a two-way conversation.
Okay, yes,
I
please.
corrected you.
Let
Asked
me explain to
questions
you.
after I've answered them. I explained to
Okay,
you
so
the similarities and the differences between artificial and natural selection. And then you ignored all of that, like you ignore all of everything, and then went right back and said, then they're the same. But they're not, because there's differences in there too. They are the same in this
correct. They are
sense
not the same.
and different in this
Thank you,
other
thank you.
sense.
They are not the same. That's the reason why you must know
Okay.
the difference between a change based on a natural selection and change based on artificial selection or intelligent selection. You must know that differences before you say phylogenetic tree.
Yeah,
That's the
I
main
do know
topic
the
in
difference,
science.
and sadly, you don't. Okay, so
No,
Mr.
you
ID,
did not.
Mr. ID, I would love to have this conversation, but frankly, you're too stupid to allow this to continue. So either you buy some IQ points really quickly and learn how to communicate properly, or I'm dropping you.
I have a book, AronRa, please. I have a book, and you cannot, you cannot, you can dismiss my book, but I have a book against you. You can say you can read it, no problem. But there's a book. Your apology
Yeah, there's a book
and
full of
apology
bullshit
challenge
written by a
answered.
guy
I
who
have a book.
doesn't know what he's
You
talking
must
about.
answer it or say sorry. You
Goodbye,
must answer
Mr.
that or
Idiot.
say I'm wrong.
Goodbye, Mr. I tried to explain why you're wrong, but you're too stupid.
You must answer that
Goodbye,
or say
Mr.
I'm
Idiot.
wrong.